Right, Deepak? So today, what topic I was expecting was what challenge. I was working on some program
Okay.
for myself
Okay.
on MSMEs, and wherein I was developing some templates,
Mm-hmm.
wherein I could see that there were some gaps which, while interviewing some professionals, I could see. So
Okay.
this first gap which I observed was the challenges what salesperson could see in the future,
Uh-huh.
right? So I'll just brief you about what I was working upon. So
Okay.
this was a competency matrix
Mm-hmm.
which I developed for my program.
Okay.
So in this, I was experiencing that when we are making attitude versus capabilities,
Uh-huh.
there is a gap which I see. Either the person is not motivated,
Mm-hmm.
or when he's coming out of the college,
Mm-hmm.
because he's not knowing why he has landed there,
Mm-hmm.
or he is not up to the mark, or he
Mm-hmm.
feels a gap in his I'll say in his capabilities
Okay.
as per the organization.
Okay.
Okay, organization do the training,
Mm-hmm.
but these trainings are more of uh, tuned for their own requirement.
Yes. Right.
Correct.
Yes.
They will not make the employee employable in the market.
Right.
This was my understanding. So
Yes.
uh, my dream is
Mm-hmm.
to make everybody move from this quadrant to the performer quadrant,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So I could see two things. One was mindset
Mm-hmm.
and one was skill.
Right.
So for mindset, I have made some again a small presentation. See
Mm-hmm.
mindset. What is mindset?
Mm-hmm.
So just correct me if I am wrong somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be open for feedback as well.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, greater than 90% of the I will not say employees, but as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
we are only in the comfortable zone, and we are working on
Yes.
the preserving or the maintenance type of activity.
Yes. Absolutely. I agree to this.
And
Yes.
there is a gap wherein less than 10%, the number was told to me was 2 or 3%, but that
Uh-huh.
was really not,
Okay.
it was horrible for me. So I just wrote 10% to give me
Okay.
some relief, right?
Yeah.
Because we
Okay.
are doing something, right?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
learning
Yes.
something somewhere. So
Yes.
less than 10% people are working on improving their skills
Mm-hmm.
for growth.
Right.
If I if I work on this comfort zone, the
Mm-hmm.
next parameter what I feel as a mindset transformation
Mm-hmm.
is circle of influence.
Right.
This is what things I know,
Okay.
which I know from the college, which I know from
Yes.
the society,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And which I can immediately apply.
Mm-hmm.
There is another thing which I do not know what is happening around the globe.
Yes. Yes.
This is what things I do not know also.
Yes.
There's a possibility.
Yes.
If I see then there is a layer around me wherein I know few things which are pending in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not able to complete it. But if I am able to complete it, I will have something better. But
Yes.
what next?
Yes.
The question is again, what next?
Mm-hmm.
So my idea was, ki why can't we increase the circle of concern
Mm-hmm.
as a proactive measure? Like instead of being reactive, we can be proactive
Absolutely.
by bringing some not to, which I do not know, into the things pending,
Right.
and then learn it so that our circle of influence gets bigger.
Yes.
If the circle of influence gets bigger, that means I know more things now. I'll be
Yes.
more empowered. I'll be more employable, right?
Yes. Yes.
And accordingly, my circle of concern also get bigger.
Yes.
So with this, I end my this topic, and I
Okay.
moved it back to you. Now,
Okay.
my first question to you is, just tell me something about yourself.
Sachin, I've been working in the corporate sector for the last 20 years, and I'm predominantly in sales, and I've been into technology software sales, and I've been, mentoring large teams in my career to help them, achieve their business goals and targets. So that is how my, career has been in the last few years. And I'm basically a mechanical engineer graduate with a post graduation in international business. And, that's how my profile is.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing this. So my first question, Deepak. So how has been sales career transformed or changed in the recent time? Can you just throw some light on it? Because I have seen uh, more of one-to-one sales is not going to happen now, right? It is more through online. It is more through indirect, I will say, not direct but indirect, right? So please give some input for that.
So, Sachin, this is a very good question. Actually, in the last 5 years or so, there has been a dramatic change in how sales has been, and with the current situation, I see that it is going to change even much further. When I started my career, the sales were more or less one to one, where you would maybe pick up the phone, schedule a meeting, go meet the customer, and discuss things, and come back to office, prepare for the next presentation, and go back to him and present to him. But nowadays things have changed drastically, and in the last 5 years, things have moved more on a digital platform. So it is not that the one-to-one meeting is not happening; they still happen. But before that one-to-one meeting, a lot of digital, things need to be done. So when I say digital things, it could be, sending the email to your prospect, okay, sending information to your prospect through a LinkedIn, platform. So there are a lot of things that have come into picture. So even before you fix up a meeting with the customer or a prospect and go to talk to him, he already has a lot of information, because if I'm not giving information, a lot of information is there on the net, and
Google.
it is already coming to him, because people know that this person would have such a requirement, so they're already bombarding him with this information. So for a salesperson nowadays, it is very important that he has a digital presence. It is not, you just go to a customer and present your visiting card. No, you should be there on LinkedIn. You should have a regular follow up through emails, through some other way of connect. Invite him to some webinar or so. A salesperson role, as I would say, has now broadened a bit. He's not just only selling, is also connecting to the customer through the right platform. So in the last 5 years, especially, this has happened. And now in the current situation where social distancing and things are changing very fast. So in the future also, I see the digital engagement with the customer is going to increase. So it is you'll have more of digital interaction, like we are talking today on a virtual environment. So that would be there, and then probably the percentage of a physical interaction would be very less, but you'll still go and meet the person physically to close the deal. So I would say in the last few years, this is what the change has happened.
Thank you for this. So what are the new skills you see now, since you told one is digital, which should have it in current scenario? Sorry.
So, like coming back to the same point, now since sales has changed over the years, one important aspect that any salesperson should have is a digital presence. So, professional platforms like LinkedIn is something that I very much encourage people to have, because when you interact even on an email to a person, or you want to search some information about a particular company or a person, you need to go to a platform such as LinkedIn, see what his profile has been, how he has been, because customers themselves keep on posting things on LinkedIn. So it gives you an idea what how the customer thought process is, how the customer's organization thought process is. So it is very important you are aligned to that, and since you need to have a digital presence, so you should be I would say the new generation sales people should have a digital presence. They should be very well aware of the digital tools, whether it's for marketing or customer engagement or customer interaction. So, and obviously when I say digital, it's not only LinkedIn, it's your email, the way you send messages. So for that, the soft skills, the digital soft skills are important. The salesperson should not be, I would not say he should be very experienced, but he should be aware of the digital marketing tools. So you should know how to reach to a customer, because the marketing team has a different role to play. But as a salesperson, these are the 2 3 things that you need to know, you need to learn, and you need to keep on sort of improving your skills in there. So if I could just summarize, digital presence on professional network, your soft skills, digital soft skills. So it's not only speaking on phone, but how do you put a mail to a prospect? After you finish a first level telephone call or a meeting, what is the response you need to give to that customer through an email? How do you ensure your continuity on email and interaction with the customer? Because from the initial to closing the deal, it's a process. So at each process, there is some connect you need to make. So you can't be calling up the customer every second day and saying, "Hi, sir, how are you?" That does not work. But through emails, you can be on regular touch, sending him some information, some knowledge. So, so I would say digital presence is something the new skills that definitely the new generation needs to have.
So Deepak, while I was also observing this, some like Salesforce, which one tool we were using, like as a for CRM, we were using SAP in our system, but I don't know whether these colleges, because the colleges, I say there are three categories of colleges. What I was observing, one is the premium institute like
Yes,
IIT, IIMs and all.
yes, yes,
And then second levels or XLRI. And then second level is the government in the colleges or state level
yeah.
universities. Then there are few private level universities or
Yes,
colleges again.
yes, yes.
So there is a vast difference which I could see in the students which are being churned out of the private institutes, because I don't see any challenges for the students which are coming from the premium or the state level universities. But the major unemployment, I would say, the MSME segment, what normally hire, are majorly from the local colleges.
Yes, yes.
And when I see my MSME base and the gap which when I was interviewing these few students, I could see a big gap in what they have learned in the theories, because it is not they have not applied.
Yeah.
I see. I observe that. So,
Yes.
what are your suggestions after completing the graduation of engineering, and what is the next before entering into the job or corporate world or starting a service? What should they do to enhance their employability?
Okay. That's a very good question, because I can go back to my example. When I was in college, then we had this campus interview, and I was not I was not one of the toppers. Okay, I was in top 10 of my class. So what I realized is, at that point of time, I had an interest in a particular field. So I realized that my college was not teaching that subject. So I actually went outside my college, and in the last semester of my college, I took up a small course, 3 months course. And I'll be very honest. The reason why I got selected in the campus interview, because the companies realized two things. One is, from the batch, I have an additional knowledge which they appreciated, and second thing, what they appreciated is my inclination to learn things apart from what college is teaching, because I was open to the environment around me. Now, what happens typically in any college is that when they create a syllabus, it remains as is for maybe 5 6 years. And the situation that we have today is that every 5 years or even less, in lesser time, the technology around us is changing, the requirement around us is changing. So the students need to be updated that what is the technology that is being what is in demand right now today, and maybe for the next 2 3 years. Because if the student is thoroughly focusing on syllabus, I don't say the syllabus is wrong, but I say they cannot keep on updating syllabus every year. That is the challenge which college has. So it's even difficult for them to update the syllabus every 2 3 years. So they will probably update the syllabus 5 years, or maybe 4 years. But by that time, the industry has changed phenomenally. So what I would encourage students, first thing is to keep their eyes open, see how the environment around them is changing, because this information is easily available on Google, in the news. If you read magazines, relevant magazines, you get all this information. So it's not a hidden fact. Second, then they need to know what are the institutes who provide this, additional skills. So, like for example, if I'm talking about a salesperson, the skills that he needs is the communication skills, which is very important. So that is one thing that he definitely needs to have. So the soft skills and the communication skills, how to address the customer. And then there are other skills which are are more relevant when you have one-to-one interaction. That's your personality development. So these are skills which are important, and you will see a lot of institutes who actually help provide this. Apart from that, if there is some specific technology which the salesperson is interested in, like for me, when I was in college, there was this particular technology that I was interested in, and I went for that course because I knew this is what I want to do or what I want to get into. So for a graduate who's just going to graduate, it is very important for them to understand what is that they want to do in life. They should have clear set of goals. And this is what I want to do. This is the industry what I want to do. Generally, what happens when students are just out of college or young professionals, they are not clear. So they keep on moving around here and there, and at end of the day, they are stuck. So it's important they have a clear understanding, and then they acquire the required skills to get into that job. So if someone is interested in banking, he's a salesperson but wants to get into banking, then he should focus on skills, like investment banking, etc., etc. So you'll find a lot of 3 to 6 month diploma courses which you can do with your college. If someone is interested in maybe uh, hotel or retail or hospitality, and there are certain courses that you can get into it and understand. So definitely, yes, these are the skills which can be acquired. There are institutes to provide these additional skills. So don't be dependent thoroughly on the college. But if the college is giving you some extra sessions or they are able to provide, nothing like it. But yes, students or young professionals needs to keep their ear and eyes open, and keep on continuously learning new skills to keep themselves relevant in the market.
And I think recently I have heard about this Udemy, Coursera, a few other platforms which have come up very,
Yes.
very good, because one of the FB Live I was also mentioning about the machine learning, AI, data science, right? About blockchain. So these are topics which was on my mind.
Yes.
Okay, before, like, because see, today MSMEs is the one segment wherein we don't have a big, highly skilled, I'll say, highly skilled
Yes. Yes.
sales force,
Mhm.
right? So I think with this, some small upgradations, the young engineers or young sales professionals will be upgraded to
Yes.
like boost this MSME base,
Yes.
right?
I just want to add one thing is, Sachin,
Tell-
because sometimes the students think that if I invest in an additional course, which is, will it give me returns? Will it pay off? And I can very well tell you from my personal example, it will pay off. Because going back to my example again, when I did this course, 3 months course, the total amount of course that it cost me. So my first salary was equivalent to that. So the first thing that I got was the job. Because way back those years, for a job, they were like, there used to be a lot of applicants. So first thing I got that job, and in 1 month salary I was able to pay whatever the investment I did in that course. So I will still encourage people and young students to keep on increasing their knowledge. It will pay them. They might not realize it today, but in the long run it pays.
Actually, I'll add to this point, because just 2 days back only I have posted one picture
Mm-hmm.
having a small seed and it becoming a big tree.
Yeah.
The
I
message
saw
is,
that.
you've seen that?
Yes.
So message is, if you keep on absorbing the new
Yes.
information, like, your roots will get
Yes.
more deeper
Stronger. Yes.
and you will grow.
Yes. Yes.
So always invest on self-learning. That is always my
Yes.
push
Absolutely.
to everybody, right? And because I have been practicing this, and then because I have walked that talk also,
Yes.
so I am vouching that yes, self-learning is not an expense; it is always an investment.
Yes.
I'll say in that way, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you, Deepak. So I think next, Deepak, I would like to know from you one more. I'll say fear which MSMEs are having.
Okay.
Now, since we are moving from physical to virtual,
Uh-huh.
will my team will be able to work in the same productive manner what I used to get them out of it? Like, so the word is home, work from home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to the viewers who are online and who will be seeing it later. So next Sunday I will be grilling Deepak and knowing something more that how MSME based or we all can be as equal to productive as we were physical in home also, work from home scenario also. So right, Deepak, so
Right.
make the answers and be
Yeah.
ready. So for the next Sunday, again, we meet at 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for joining. I'm blessed, and thank you viewers for joining this small call talk. And
Yeah.
bye for now. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.